If I may, call Tamika Tyson first, 22 CF 2628.
All right. Ms. Tyson, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for us, of course, the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
This is 22 CF 2628, State versus Tamika Tyson. You want to enter a no contest plea to obtaining property by fraud and uttering forged bill, 2 third-degree felonies. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you happy with the work Ms. Rivers done for you on your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Adjudication is withheld. Sentence to credit for time served. $441.72 to RGT Foods. $415 court costs. $100 cost of prosecution. $150 PD fee.
May I approach with this question?
All right. You don't have a felony conviction for 2 felonies. That's pretty good. Don't do this again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, the next case, Joshua Willis. That's going to be 22 CF 1541. Your Honor, we are putting this on the trial docket. However, we would like a court date of July 3rd. The state has made an offer that, once we get specifics, we're going to review, see if we can work it
Okay,
out.
July 3rd. Thank you, sir.
The next one, Your Honor, is Charles Velez.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we are going to have a motion in limine that we're filing, and we would like to address that. So not July 3rd, but the next date.
You want July 6th?
July 6th, Your Honor.
Is that
We'll leave
okay?
it for docket day first, just as a placeholder.
All right, July
Okay.
3rd, and maybe you can get it worked out.
And that's with subpoenas,
Yes.
right? Okay. And Your Honor, I just want to put on the record, this was a plea to count 2 with credit time served, a misdemeanor. And if convicted as charged, the defendant is looking at just over 100 months DOC.
So he could plead and get time served.
A misdemeanor, yes, sir.
They do a misdemeanor, get time served, or go to trial and possibly get 100 months Department of Corrections?
That's what he scores, Your Honor. That's the minimum.
Minimum, 100 months. How many years is that?
I have to get my calculator out.
How many?
8.5,
About 8.5.
meet with your public defender and talk about it, okay? July, what did we say, July 6th?
July 3rd and July 6th.
July 3rd.
Your
I'll
Honor.
leave the offer open until Monday, July 3rd, but we'll anticipate sending out subpoenas.
So it's a misdemeanor, time served, that's the end of it,
Yes, sir.
or
In court.
possibly 100 months in prison?
Yes, sir.
No, it's at the end.
No probation,
Correct.
no probation, no jail time?
All right. Well, we'll talk. Call me before then, okay? Make it tomorrow. Yes.
Okay,
All right. Yes. Your Honor, the next one would be,
who?
Your Honor, I think that's going to be it for my out of custody. The rest are in custody.
All right, Mr. Gibbs, you got some out of custody?
Just a few more, Judge.
Okay.
First one I'm going to have is Christina Beeman. Your Honor, Ms. Beeman is present and approaching. This is 21 CF 1526. Judge, we're asking for one last continuance.
Okay, without objection, August 28th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, Judge, I have Coleman Blocker. Judge, this is 23 CF 564. I was appointed last week. I'm asking for a continuance.
No objection.
August 28th. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So just give me a call. You get my card right. And then, Judge, I have Caleb Goad.
Caleb Goad, okay.
He's approaching Judge, 23 CF 240. Judge, we'd like to leave him set for docket day. I believe the state's already sent subpoenas for some of the witnesses and the alleged victim. So we'll leave it set for
July
docket
3rd.
day. Or not
Okay.
yet, for docket day.
July 3rd. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. At 9 a.m. 9 a.m. If you want to try to meet with me before then. Judge, I believe that completes all of my out of custodies.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Carmine Harrell. Yes, this is a plea to a misdemeanor.
Harold, okay.
Harrell.
Mr. Harrell, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
This is 23 CF 733, State versus Carmine Harrell. You want to enter a
Be a no contest, Judge.
no contest plea to is it possession of paraphernalia, count 2?
That's correct, Judge.
And then count 1 is going to be null prost?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to enter a plea of no contest to possession of paraphernalia, misdemeanor,
Yes, sir.
okay? Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
I've read it. I haven't signed it yet.
Sorry, Judge. You get your signature there. I believe you've got the H's. This is Carmine Harrell.
All right. Okay, Mr. Harrell, so now you have read it, and now you've signed it, right?
Yes, sir.
You understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevents you from knowing what you're doing here?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Judge guilty. Standard misdemeanor court cost, $50 PD fee, $50 cost of prosecution, $50 public defender app fee, and count 1, I guess, is going to be null prost. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Adjudicated. Thank you.
Where both of, was it adjudicated?
That
On
count, you got adjudication on the misdemeanor and the felony's dismissed.
Okay. Well, originally I was told the misdemeanor would be no adjudication.
good.
Has he got a
Can
prior?
Does he have any prior?
I don't know. Man.
Have you got any?
I'll agree to withhold, Your Honor.
Okay. You got no prior record?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll change it to withhold. All right, so we change that to withhold on it for
Yes,
you,
sir.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Go to the clerk's office. Yeah.
Ms. Rivers, you got
I'll tell you.
somebody?
Your Honor, I don't have anybody else out.
Mr. Gibbs?
I don't believe.
Mr. Russell?
Either.
Judge, I've got a couple that I can call.
Okay.
Devin Miller.
Miller? Anybody
Judge, he
else?
doesn't answer.
They would ask for Capias.
No bond capias. Devin Miller.
James A. Helen.
What we do?
Did we already continue?
We said, our clerk says we continued Devin Miller.
What I was just.
Okay.
Okay.
I just didn't have a note on the file.
I would recall the capias.
All right, is that what you want to do?
Heck, yes.
Okay. Get your signature right there.
Yes, sir. See him? Call people in just a second. I'm gonna ask them what they're here for. Mr. Helland, you are James Helland. Would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for us course of truth, so help you God.
I do.
You want to enter a no contest plea to count 2, possession of paraphernalia, first-degree misdemeanor, and count 3, no valid driver's license, a second-degree misdemeanor. And this is case number 23 CF 584. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And count 1 will be null pros, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Did you, Mr. Helen, did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
I did, sir.
You understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
I do understand.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevents you from knowing what you're doing
No,
here
sir.
today? You happy with the work Mr. Williams done for you on your case?
Very.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. It's a concurrent sentence on count 2 and 3, standard misdemeanor court cost of prosecution, $50 PD app fee, and misdemeanor PD fee. And adjudication is withheld on both cases. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
No problem. Judge Danny Mason, we had called him up earlier and sent him back downstairs. He returned.
We told him, we're going to set this for docket day, Your Honor. We should have a resolution by.
July 3rd. Danny Mason, right?
Yes, sir.
Anybody out there that is represented by a public defender? Okay, I'll start. What's your name, sir? Moody? Who has Mr. Moody?
I have Mr. Moody, Judge. Yeah, and actually, the Moody I was looking at was a different fellow. Okay. Judge, I'm going to have to move to continue Mr. Moody's case. I get him confused with a different Moody that I've got. So
August
I don't know if
28th.
I have an offer on
Okay,
this
August-
gentleman yet.
August 28th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to start, hang on one second. I'm going to start my left to right, go all the way across. Ma'am in the red shirt over here, you got a case? Okay, next person over there. You got a case? Sir, you? Okay, three of y'all waiting on somebody, okay? Ma'am? Waiting? Okay, ma'am, okay, and in the orange shirt, okay, how about you, ma'am, in the gray? Sierra McDonald?
Judge, I had provided some information to the state, but we don't have a, let's see. Give me just one second.
Ma'am, in the orange shirt, you got a case with, who's your attorney? Him? Okay, you're just waiting, okay. Blue, you got a case?
Okay, all right.
Mr. Williams?
Judge, I'm going to move to continue Ms. McDonald's case again.
All right.
I did provide some additional information to the state, but she's just advised me that there's other things she needs to look into and provide.
Sarah, this is a 2021 case, it's a probationary offer. Could we set up a docket day and maybe have a discussion before then? 'Cause this is
July 3rd.
That's fine.
July 3rd, okay? Get with your attorney so we can you can get it resolved, okay?
Okay.
Come back July 3rd. Ma'am, with the blue blouse on, what's your name?
Judge, I
Sandra?
believe that one's the first time up. I spoke with Ms. Novinsky earlier. Is this? Judge, I'm going to move to continue the case.
Any objection on that?
With an N.
No objection, that's fine.
All right, August 28th. Thank you. All right, sir. Ed McBride.
Judge, Mr. McBride and I have gone back and forth with the state trying to negotiate the case out. We're at loggerheads on it. What I suggested was that we just go ahead and put it on the docket, but I think Mr. McBride wants to address the court. I know he's very much desiring to get a probation officer, but right now is 23 months DOC, even with a dismissal of one of the counts.
Well, I'd also asked if he could get into drug court.
I tried getting him into drug court. There's been some hang-ups with getting him involved in that. I'll be happy to try again, but I believe he even went down and
I
observed.
did talk to the intake lady, and she gave me some it was a discrepancy about, she said had a full-time employment. It was some thing I said I had to just check into, probably committing, because she said once you commit, it's a commitment. And I want to see if there's any alternative non-prison sanctions that I can explore before I go that route.
Okay. Is part of it that you'd be meeting down, if I'm trying to recall here, you were meeting down on the south end, but you live up here on the north end, and there was a transportation
Yeah,
issue?
yes, sir, at the time, it was, in the occupation,
It's-
in employment. So
In your
she said-
employment?
She said you had to have a full-time job, and I said I had to just.
I mean, you're offering a drug court, but then can he do just probation?
I can talk to Mr. Williams about.
All right, we'll set it for
Dr. Day.
July 3rd, okay?
Yes,
Fine,
Judge.
Judge.
Thank you, Judge. No, thank you, for real, thank you.
Okay, so where am I? Next, how about you, sir, back there? Yes, you got a case? Neighbors? Who represents Mr. Neighbors?
I do, Judge.
Was it Nick Neighbors?
Nathan Neighbors.
Nathan?
Neighbors, Judge.
Okay.
Judge, let me ask.
Ma'am, with the,
Judge, I think we can get this case resolved. I need to talk with the state a little bit about
what
it.
about June 29th?
Um,
About July 3rd?
July 3rd, I think, would be more
Okay.
realistic. Yes, without.
Miss Rachel? Ma'am, with the yellow shirt, you got a case? You?
Yeah, come back on July 3rd. Write your telephone number
Wait.
down right there.
You don't have one? Ma'am, you at the black blouse, right, the next one. You got a case? Yes. What's your name? Johnson? Hang on.
Derrick needs supervised probation. Okay. And you paid all the restitution.
Who represents Casey Johnson?
I do, Judge.
Okay.
Seconds here. Here we go. Okay. Judge, I believe we have a negotiated plea here.
Okay.
So, Ms. Johnson, you've got Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
We had talked about taking that to 11/29. You said that, and mailing in the reports, you said that you were okay with that as long as we resolved it by today.
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Johnson, would you raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for is course of truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
This is State versus Casey Johnson, 22 CF 1485. You want to enter a no contest plea to,
It's as charged, Judge, but we're going to do less than a year so that she can mail in her monthly reports.
all right, you want to plead no contest to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a third-degree felony, and domestic violence battery, first-degree misdemeanor. You understand that? That's what you want to do? Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes.
You understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea? Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea? No. Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? No. Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams done on your case for you? Yes. Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Count 1. Adjudication is withheld since 11 months, 29 days probation. Cost of supervision waived, $767 in-court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $150 public defender fee. Excuse me. No contact with Mark Maurice Green. Complete the batterer's intervention program and forfeit the firearm. On count 2, you're adjudicated guilty. 11 months, 29 days, probation concurrent with count 1. Mail-in probation is allowed. And what is this, classes? What are these words?
Probably under the, I'm sorry, parenting classes.
Parenting classes.
Yep.
Got to take parenting classes, okay? Okay. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
I'm going to grab the score sheet right now.
All right, thank you.
Go to probation.
probation officer here.
Yeah, you're going to meet with them right now, real quick, and then
All
they'll
right,
instruct you further.
All right, thank you.
yes, sir. Him, Mr. Williams? Okay, what's your name? Come on up.
Okay.
Ma'am with a gray T-shirt right there, did you have a case? No? Did you have a case? No? How about after you, okay, I got you. Blue shirt, blue T-shirt back there, sir? Next.
Not in store. We
You have a case? I don't personally, but my son. Okay, well, you got a case? And then you got a case? No? Okay.
Judge, I'm going to move for continuance on this. Mr. McMurrin was ill for a very, very long time and would come to court. He'd have to be sent home because he would show up with symptoms, and there were concerns about.
Health concerns?
Yes, sir. So I still need to get him in the office, let him look at the videos in the case.
What, Miss Glisson, what do you say?
No objection.
August 28th.
Thanks, Judge. Make that appointment.
All right, you.
Yes, sir.
What's your name, sir?
Can't talk with you about it right now.
All right, Daniel Lawson.
Judge, I think this can be worked out. There is something on the plea offer that, after speaking with Mr. Lawson, needed a massage. It doesn't look like there's been any change to it as yet. We can leave it on for docket day, or we can set it for a different date. It looks to me like it has been continued twice before.
No objection. Docket day or the 6th.
Why don't we try July 6th and see?
All right, Judge.
See if y'all can get it worked out, okay? Thank you. Okay, ma'am, right here.
Judge, it looks like ultimately this is going to be a negotiated plea. She is asking for one more continuance, get things with work stabilized before she starts any supervision. Ashley Marie Mayen Oviedo, case number is 22 CF 2836.
You want to go July 25th, something like that?
That's fine with the state.
July 25th?
Would that be enough time? That'll be fine, Judge.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else back in the back have a case? All right, what's your name? Come on up. What's your name, ma'am? Miles? Okay.
Judge, give me just 1 second. Judge, there have been offers and counteroffers back and forth on this case. I spoke with the state. We're going to take another look at things and continue to talk. Set it for July 25th.
All right, July 25th. Thank you.
Yes, please.
All right, anyone else back there have a case? Okay. Inmates. All right.
Start with Oglesby.
Okay, Ms. Rivers.
Yes, sir.
Judge, I'm showing one as out, and I'm just curious, is Stephen Matthews in the courtroom?
Your Honor, this is William Travis Oglesby on 21 CF 3005 and 22 CF 2516. We've reached an agreement in this matter.
All right. Mr. Oglesby, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for is course of truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is 21 CF 802, State versus William Travis Oglesby. Is this a plea to the VOP and the other 3 counts?
That's correct, Your Honor, VOP and the new law on
All right.
22 CF 2516.
All right, so Mr. Oglesby, you are admitting violation of probation in 21 CF 802 and pleading no contest in 22 CF 2516, count 1, DUI, within 10 years of prior conviction, a third-degree felony, refusal to submit breathalyzer, a first-degree misdemeanor, count 2, and count 3, driving license suspended, a first-degree misdemeanor. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea and admission?
Yes.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this admission and plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or medication that prevents you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Ms. Rivers has done for you on your case?
Yes.
Court finds the admission and plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. In 21 CF 802, the court's going to revoke and terminate probation. Sends you to 14 months Department of Corrections concurrent with credit for time served, $100 cost of prosecution, $150 PD fee, and 22 CF 2516, count 1, 14 months Department of Corrections concurrent with credit for all time served. Count 2 and count 3 is sentence to credit for time served. 10-year driver's license revocation, $2,000 fine, $415 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $100 PD fee, and you may do community service for court costs. And everything, all the sentences are to run concurrent with each other.
Sir.
And do we say, and he's adjudicated on everything? Is that right? Is that, okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, the outstanding violation of probation monies go to collections.
Yes.
Yep. Good luck.
Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Phelan's before the court on 19 CF 2175, 19 CF 2215, 22 CF 2949. We are negotiating with the state at this time. We're going to request a continuance.
828. Thank you, sir.
Get you something earlier, we'll bring you in earlier,
All
okay?
right, sounds great.
Next one would be Pablo Portugal. Your Honor, this is Pablo Portugal, 21 CF 748, 21 CF 749, 21 CF 750, 23 CF 456. Your Honor, I believe we've reached an agreement in this matter. He just needs to sign. And that's credit and there.
Court, Portugal, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court is true, so help you God?
It's Your Honor.
Okay. All right, you want to admit that you violated probation. This is State of Florida versus Pablo Portugal, 2021 CF 748, 2021 CF 749, 2021 CF 750, 2023 CF 456. So you want to admit that you violated probation on 748, 749, and 750 and enter a no contest plea to control of his possession of a controlled substance in 23 CF 456, correct? Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea and admission?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this admission and plea?
Sure.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? Are you happy with the work Ms. Rivers has done for you on your case? Court finds the admission and plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On all the violations of probation, counts. You're sentenced to 11 months, 29 days, Okaloosa County Jail with credit for time served, then reinstate probation with the previous terms and conditions. $100 cost of prosecution times 3, PD fee, $100 times 3, PD application fee, one time. Waive cost of supervision in 23 CF 456. You're sentenced to 11 months, 29 days, Okaloosa County Jail, credit for time served, concurrent, $515 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $100 PD fee. Is that it? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, he's gonna fingerprint you. They gotta see you. Your Honor, before the court is Derrick James Reese.
Reese, okay. Hello.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, we've got another case number on it here.
On which case?
I heard three. I heard 21, 748, 749, and 750.
We only had,
And then I see 21, 1507.
I believe it was showing that one of them, the BOP was gone.
Okay.
Okay, and so that was the whole issue.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Because I did look that up.
Clerk stage, and it shouldn't have been, I don't know what we need to do. It's closed. I think it was opened in error. It was not on probation.
All right.
Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, you got it figured out. That's Mr. Portugal's case, right? Okay, good.
Your Honor, this is Derrick Reese. He's before the court on 22 CF 2435. If he may have just a moment so he can sign the plea agreement. We went over it, but he was unable to sign. All right. 1129 on count 4, which is the resisting. Counts 1 and 5, meth and fleeing or dismissed. 2, 3, and 6, 55 months. 3 years is day for day on count 2. Credit for all time served, $50,000 fine, for the remainder of the court costs. Okay? All right, you have to sign it right there. Okay.
Very good.
If it's good for you. Right.
All right, Mr. Reese, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's true, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is State versus Derrick James Reese, 22 CF 20, is it 2435 or
2435, yes, sir.
2435? You are going to enter a no contest plea. Is it all 6,
The state's dismissing counts 1 and counts 5.
1 and 5? Okay. So you are entering a no contest plea, count 2, trafficking in fentanyl, a second-degree felony. Count 3, possession of a controlled substance, a third-degree felony. Count 4, resisting an officer without violence, a first-degree misdemeanor. And introduction of contraband, a third-degree felony. And then count, was it 1 and 5 are going to be dismissed?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
You understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Ms. Rivers has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Count, I'll do count 2 and 3 and 6. You're adjudged guilty, sentenced to 55 months, Department of Corrections with 3-year minimum mandatory.
And Judge, that 3-year amendment only attaches to count 2.
Okay.
So it will be-
So-
so count 2 will be 55 months with a 3-year amendment, and then counts 3 and 6 will be 55 months.
Okay. Count 2 is 55 months Department of Corrections with a 3-year minimum mandatory. Count 3 and 6 is 55 months without a minimum mandatory. And you're a judge guilty on those counts. Credit for time served, $50,000 fine, $515 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, and $150 PD fee. And on count 4, you're sentenced to 11 months, 29 days, Okaloosa County Jail concurrent. So, and those DOC offenses are all concurrent also, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, concurrent. So what it is, you're getting on count 4, 11 months, 29 days, county jail with credit for time served. On count 2, 3, and 6, you're getting 55 months Department of Corrections concurrent, which means they're all together, with credit for time served, but there's a minimum mandatory 3-year on count 2, but you get credit for the time you served in county jail against that time. Then the $50,000 fine that's just on count 2, correct?
Correct.
And $515 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $150 PD fee, and adjudicated on all of them. So everything's running concurrent, 55 months, but you're getting, on one of them, you got a 3-year minimum mandatory, but you do get credit for the time you've already served on it. Yeah, you get credit for time, and say you've served 11 months in jail. You got a 3-year minimum mandatory, but they're going to let you out in less than 2 years. They give you credit for the jail time. Okay. You got
It
it?
doesn't take away any of your credit.
I know, it's kind of confusing, I know. It says minimum mandatory, but they give you credit for the jail time you served. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So it's not really 3 years.
Okay, let's start from now. Okay, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So how long you been in jail?
10 months, 9 months, 10.
10?
Yeah.
Well, see, I say 3-year minimum mandatory, but they're automatically going to knock off 10 months because
Okay,
you've
okay.
already served that, okay?
Yes, sir.
And then- Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. Thank you.
Done?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's going to want to fingerprint you. Okay.
All right, this is Mr. Stewart, did we hear?
Yes, Your Honor. This is Kenneth Stewart. He's before the court on 23 CF 550. Your Honor, we had an evaluation done by Dr. McDonald. She did deem him to be legally incompetent and is saying that he would need treatment at Florida State Hospital. We are asking the court to find him legally incompetent and for him to get his treatment at Florida State Hospital.
State?
Your Honor, I have no objection to Your Honor considering the findings.
All right,
Your own determination.
yeah.
No objection.
Okay, based on her findings, you want to set this for,
And she indicated in her report she believed that he could retain competency within six months.
okay, I was going to say December, that's what I think I remember. It's about December 28th or something like that. We'll set it for December 28th.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The court finds he's incompetent at this time to proceed, so December 28th, court date.
Your Honor, this is Lonnie Strahan. He's before the court on 21 CF 1400, 21 CF 1403. We are requesting one last continuance, and the indication with the state is that we will proceed next time on 21 CF 1400.
That is correct, Your Honor, there's no objection. I believe we've got some motions we need to address before the next trial cycle, so we'll be sure to get that scheduled as well.
Okay, August 28th. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Walker?
Your Honor, Mr. Walker had been sick, so we went over his plea agreement, but I didn't have him sign it. You feeling better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. If you've done the 45 days. Your Honor, there's also some misdemeanor cases on there as well. If the court would be so inclined, he wanted to resolve all his cases in county and circuit court at this time.
No objection from the state.
All right. Mr. Walker, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court is true, so help you God? This is 23 CF 31351, State of Florida versus William Robert Walker, and also 23 MM 54, 23 MM 47, 23 MM 1451. You want to enter a no contest plea on 23 CF 351 to aggravated stalking, a third-degree felony, correct? And then 23 MM 1451, 23 MM 47, and 23 MM 54, you want to admit, you want to admit that you violated, enter a no contest plea to violation of injunction on those cases, correct? Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
You understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Anyone force you or threaten you to enter this plea? You under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
Sure.
You happy with the work Ms. Rivers has done for you on your case?
Sir, I am.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On the felony, 23 CF 351, you're judged guilty. Credit for time served. 2 years probation, $787 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $150 PD fee, 50 hours community service, cost of transportation $89.45 to Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, no alcohol or drugs while on probation, no contact with Benita Walker, and the court will waive cost of supervision. In the misdemeanors, you're adjudged guilty, sentenced to 11 months, 29 days probation, 40 days Okaloosa County Jail concurrent. All these sentences are concurrent. Credit for time served on the 40 days Okaloosa County Jail, credit for time served on the misdemeanor. $270 court cost times 3, no contact with Vanetta Walker, take batter's intervention program, waive cost of supervision, and $50 PD fee times 3, and adjudicated on all of them. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
He has to fingerprint you, and then you have to
And
talk
Your
to them.
Honor, we request he be given the whole 2 years in order to complete the misdemeanor.
All right, I'll give him 2 years to do it. All right,
Your Honor, this is Kyle Ware. He's before the court on 22 CF 879. I'm sorry, Your Honor, I misspoke. It's 979. And let's have just a moment, Your Honor. Let's see. I think she...
is it Wire?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is State of Florida versus Kyle Justin Wire. Mr. Wire, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God?
So help me God.
You want to enter a no contest plea on count 1 to possession, a lesser included offense, possession of a controlled substance, which is a misdemeanor, correct?
Yes, sir.
No, Your Honor, it would just be the possession of controlled substance, the felony, but it's still a lesser than, level-wise, it's still lesser.
Oh, okay, I got you. So you'd be entering it to a third-degree felony, possession of a controlled substance. You understand that in count 1?
Yes, sir.
On counts 2, 3, 5, and 6, count 2 is resisting a merchant, a first-degree misdemeanor. Count 3, petty theft, a first-degree misdemeanor. Count 5 and 6 are resisting an officer without violence. Both of those are first-degree misdemeanors. You're earning a no contest plea to those charges. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And then it looks like count 4 is possession of a controlled substance. Is that what you got, Miss?
Criminal mischief?
Well, it says count 4, possession of a controlled substance, which is sort of confusing to me because I have criminal mischief. Look at this. Isn't that what that says?
And then so you're on count 4, that would be adjudicated.
So count 4, you're entering a plea to
Criminal mischief.
criminal mischief. Okay. Okay, I got it. All right, so did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes,
You
sir.
aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Sir.
Anyone force you, threaten you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Ms. Rivers has done on your case for you?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On count 4, you're judged guilty and sentenced to credit for time served. On count 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, 12 months drug offender probation.
Your Honor, I think is it 2 years probation for count 1 and then 12 months on the others?
Should be, Your Honor.
Come look at this. Come look at this, because I want to make sure we get his sentence right, but is that count 1 and that's count 1? I mean,
Yeah, I wrote it twice, Your Honor. I did.
okay, so
Counts
5 and 6.
was 12 months of drug offender probation. Count 1 is 24 months of drug offender probation.
All right. Count 1, you're sentenced to 24 months drug offender probation. And count 2, 3, 5, and 6 is 12 months drug offender probation concurrent, correct? Then all terms and conditions are on the probation are the same. And you're to have a substance abuse evaluation and complete any counseling, not to possess or consume alcohol or drugs without a prescription. Random UAs, take the anti-theft class, do not return to Walmart. Maintain gainful employment or submit 3 applications per week and waive cost of supervision. $515 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, and $150 PD fee. Judge guilty on all those, and then on count 4, like I said, a judge guilty, credit for time served. Is that it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
These are the probation officers I was telling you about. Come here. Hello, Mr. Willis. Mr. Willis, I thought I had you sign this, but I guess not.
I did.
Well, here, I got it again. All right, it's the same thing.
Same one I signed on?
Oh, yeah, there it is. It's been a long day. Excuse me. Your Honor, this is Jeffrey Mark Willis, 22 CF 1565. Put in this matter.
Mr. Willis, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. This is State versus Jeffrey Mark Willis, 22 CF 1565. You want to enter a no contest plea to
Felony
felony battery, third-degree felony. You understand that?
Yes.
And count 1 is going to be null prost, correct?
Yes,
That's
Your Honor.
correct, Your Honor. May I approach?
Okay. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes.
Are you understand the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing?
No.
Are you happy with the work Ms. Rivers has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. You are sentenced to 2 years Department of Credit, 2 years Department of Corrections with credit for time served. 3 years is that followed by 3 years probation? Take a psychosexual evaluation, complete any recommended treatment, no contact with initials KAD, take all prescribed medications, $967 court cost, $100 cost of prosecution, $150 PD fee, and count one will be dismissed. All right, is that it? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Judge.
We request the supervision fees be waived, Your Honor.
Yes. How many we got?
Sorry, Jay, I think he's got me up.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Your Honor, this is Mr. James Offer. Tim Gibbs on his behalf. And I have just one moment. I believe we have an agreement.
Mr. Offer, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this course of truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
CC, enter complete Phoenix House.
Yep.
All right. So what you want to do is just sign it right there for me, please.
Right.
Right up there, please. And since she is dismissing that count, you don't score presumptive prison sentence. And then today's date, please.
26.
Yeah, 6/26. All right, or 20, it's 23. Oop, that part should be 23. It's all right.
Shackle's a little short.
It happens, all right. Your Honor, if I may approach, written please, score sheet, no check.
All right. This is case 23 CF 193, State versus James Eric Alford. Mr. Alford, you want to enter a no contest plea to count 2, introduction of contraband, and count 1 is going to be dismissed, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, it's correct.
Okay. Did you read and sign his plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No,
Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On count 1 will be dismissed. Count 2, you're sentenced to 2 years community control, $100 cost of prosecution, $415 court costs, $150 PD fee, enter and complete Phoenix House program, bars to bed, comply with all policies of Phoenix House, complete any and all recommended aftercare from Phoenix House. You're adjudicated, and that's it.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck, just move the probation.
Supervision fees waived, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Jason Blocker, Tim Gibbs on his behalf, 22 CF 1710, 22 CF 2879. Guessing I was thinking. Judge, I think on 22 CF 1710, we are ready for trial. I spoke with the state earlier. If we were to study it for trial, I believe that's the one that the state would prefer to go on first. So I think we can go ahead and leave it set for trial, come back docket day, and track 2879 with it.
Yes, Your Honor.
What's he charged with?
Judge, in that case, he's charged with aggravated assault by threat with a deadly weapon. We've done depositions of the alleged victim, as well as the officers involved, and then there's, if there's any other information that we need, I'm confident we'll have it by the time we go to trial.
How do you spell his last name?
Blocker, B-L-O-C-K-E-R.
All right, July 3rd.
So I'll probably look and see it maybe this way.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
I should have Mr. Carpenter next. Yeah, Mr. Carpenter. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Richard Carpenter, 22 CF 681, 22 CF 1727, 22 CF 3090. If I have just one moment, please. Well, assuming that's all accurate, now it's up to the jail. So if it's taking you too long to get out, write me so I can look at it, okay? All right, if that's still what you want to do, sign right there.
Yes, sir. No probation,
No
credit for all
probation,
time. sir.
credit for all the time that you have, concurring and coterminous, yes, sir. And then today's date, please. 6/26. Your Honor, if I may approach. You can see that we did make a change on there, Judge. Initially, he was going to include this newest case on the sentence today. However, when we spoke with the state earlier this morning, Mr. Carpenter's mom showed up. She is the alleged victim in the newest case, I believe based on the conversation we had.
All
That's
right.
correct, Your Honor. The victim came here and repeatedly asked for that.
Okay. This is State of Florida versus Richard Lee Carpenter. 22 CF 681, 22 CF 1727, 22 CF 3090. Mr. Carpenter, would you please raise your right hand and be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, the state's going to drop the charges on 22 CF 3090, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Carpenter, you're entering a no contest plea in 22 CF 681 and 22 CF 1727. That is a violation of probation admission, and in 22 CF 3090, burglary of an occupied dwelling, count 1, and count 2, arson of a dwelling, correct?
Yes, and that's the case that's being dismissed, Judge.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
Initially, we thought he
Let's
was.
just start over.
Okay.
22 CF 3090, those charges, arson of a dwelling and burglary of an occupied dwelling, those are dismissed.
Correct.
Okay, good. So you are entering a violation of admission to violation of probation in 22 CF 681 and 22 CF 1727, just violations of probation,
Yes, Judge.
correct? Okay, you feel better?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Lots better.
I bet you do. All right, did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the admission is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Court, in both those cases, 22 CF 681 and 22 CF 1727 is going to revoke and terminate probation, sentence you to $200 cost of prosecution, $250 PD fee, to collections, all of it sent to collections, sentence you to 11 months, 29 days, Okaloosa County Jail, with credit for time served, concurrent and coterminous with each other, and 22 CF 3090, which really doesn't matter because that's dismissed. Okay. So basically, 11 months, 29 days concurrent with credit for time, sir. How much time he served already?
He should have very close.
323 days exact to the day.
Probably would be getting out
That's our
with the
anticipation.
gain time that sheriff gives you, so you might be out any day now.
With it being coterminous, Judge, he should be getting out, if not today, very, very soon.
Yeah,
23 days over, Your Honor.
okay. All right, well, stay out of trouble, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck. Leave this.
And the outstanding monies are to collections, Your Honor.
Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Rocky Carter. Believe we had addressed him earlier, but in case we didn't, for the record, this is 23 CF 80, 22 CF 2905, 22 CF 2765, 21 CF 1897. Judge, we're asking to continue this matter. We need to get depositions set.
August 28th, thank you.
I'm losing everything.
So I gotta get depositions.
There's no way, I didn't do nothing. This is ridiculous.
Well, otherwise we can set it for trial. Or if we don't have, if you don't want to do depositions, we can set it for trial right now. Your Honor, Mr. Carter is wanting to assert his right to a trial at this time. At this time, that's against my advice. However, he, of course, does have the right to go to a trial. I don't know if the state's going to try to push the VOP cases to an evidentiary hearing first, because the court could certainly allow that. But I'm requesting a continuance because I would like a deposition. I would like to talk to the alleged victims in this case under oath before we go to a trial. But Mr. Carter is wanting to resolve it.
What's he charged with?
Currently, Judge, he's charged with aggravated assault by threat. He also has a resisting without violence misdemeanor charge in his new case. There's 3 VOP cases, Judge, that are based on, the violations are based on the new charge.
There's some type of offer or something?
The offer that we last got, Judge, was 73.125 months, which is based on his current history, his current charges, and his violation points as well. That's the only offer that we've
All right,
that we've been
well,
able to
what
receive.
we'll do is,
And we set it, Your Honor, for, I think, July 25th for a VOP evidentiary.
right, that's what I was going to suggest.
Thank you. That's
Okay,
fine.
July 25th, VOP evidentiary hearing. Thank you.
That's with subpoenas.
Yes, with subpoenas.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Stephen Creech. Judge, this is 21 CF 2333, 21 CF 2680, 23 CF 87. Judge, I believe we're intending to set all 3 of these cases for trial this cycle as well. Mr. Creech may want to address the court. Did you still want to try to represent yourself?
No, I'm not gonna go pro se. I don't.
Okay.
Okay, what's he charged with?
Judge, on one case, the first case, it's possession of controlled substance and a violation of an injunction. The second case is failure to register as a sex offender. The third case is a battery on another inmate is the charge.
And for the record, on the failure to register charge, as well as 21 CF 2680, 21 CF 2333, and I'm not sure if the 21 MM 4393 has been disposed of, but he does score 91.3 months DOC. State has made a 5-year offer with the almost 2 years credit he has from Florida State Hospital.
Offered a plea to 5 years with credit for 2 years, approximately 2 years you've already served, which means that, what would that be, about?
He'd serve up to 3 years more day for day, and then 80%, it'd be 85. If he weren't, let's say he went to DOC tomorrow, it'd be 85% off of 3 years. So
You're looking at about 2 years and a half or something like that, as opposed to possibly getting 90-something months?
And my understanding too is that score sheet for the 91-month score is only based on the possession of controlled substance case and the failure to register case. It actually does not include the allegations on battery in the jail.
Okay, what did you want to tell me?
Your Honor, on case CF,
The first one,
no,
so that's the possession case.
on the field register, Your Honor.
Now, hang
I
on a
just-
second, don't,
Your Honor.
you got your right to remain silent,
Yes,
anything
sir,
you
I do,
say
and I
here.
understand that, but there's something I'd like you to understand. When the officer come by to my residence, I produce it's an identification card, Your Honor. I produced the identification card, and the card that he ran was registered, was to my registered address. But he charged me for not having a valid ID, when in fact, he ran, the ID that he ran was to a registered address, my registered address, and it was my valid ID.
Well, what we'll do, well, I don't want to try it right here. Do
Judge,
we need a continuance for you to look into that?
Judge, the allegations are that he did not register with the DMV the address he was living at the time. That's the allegations, the time period that the state provided in their information. The allegation is that he didn't register with the DMV. He had registered with the sheriff's office, but not the DMV, is the allegation. And so there's some history the state
If we
provided.
continue this, you think y'all can work it out?
We've tried, the last offer that we got, Judge, I got an offer from Ms. Leone to resolve 2 of the cases for 12.1 months regarding the possession charge, to dismiss that, plea to the violation of the injunction, as well as plea to the battery on an inmate. But Mr. Creech has declined that offer. Otherwise, Ms. Berrickman, on the failure to register, offered 5 years DOC, which would be a downward departure based on his score sheet.
Your Honor, may I? I've been in jail for 22 months now. So I'd just like this few minutes to speak on the CF 002333. Your Honor, it is a violation of injunction with a possession of methamphetamine, Judge, and I'd like to point out that on my police report, the officer stated that he passed me.
Okay, hang on one second. Look, let me just
like to say just one fact, that when he seen me, he personally knew, he put in his report that he personally knew me to have an active injunction. So he used that to pull me over, Your Honor. And then he arrested me for violating the injunction. I was nowhere near the residence that had the injunction.
Okay, well, that's all.
The law was not called on me that day.
You can talk when we have a trial, I guess.
That's what you can testify to.
So, let me just ask you this. I mean, is this?
It's a conflict of interest, a fiduciary conflict of interest.
He and I have discussed that, Your Honor.
You think if we continue to get this worked out, or do we need to set it for trial?
Judge, I believe at this point we need to set it for trial. I don't anticipate the need for any more depositions. I don't anticipate.
How do you spell Mr. Creech's last name?
Creech is going to be C-R-E-E-C-H.
Okay, July 3rd. Y'all see if you can get it worked out.
Now, for the battery.
We're not talking.
So the state's going to determine, we could potentially go on both cases this cycle, or it would be one. There's other cases that are set for trial.
I'll try to get it. I'm going to order them to try to work it out. If they can't,
On
we'll have
Monday,
to have a
we'll
trial.
see
I
if
can't
which-
make them dismiss it.
It's been 22 months, Your Honor, and it's been nothing. It's been.
You'll get credit for that if you get convicted.
Yes, Your Honor, there is one more thing. He also qualifies for habitual felony offender, and if we're going to trial, we will be seeking that sentencing.
That makes things a lot worse for you if you don't plead, but I'm not telling you what to do, but if you get convicted, you could get a habitual felony offender, but, so just talk with your attorney, figure out what y'all could do. If you can't, we'll have to go to trial. You'll get credit for the time you served.
Your Honor, I'd also like to point out that the officer failed to do a field test with what he called possession of meth.
Again, that's an evidentiary issue, a factual issue.
He did not do a field test.
Okay, well,
He
a jury
missed the chain of command.
a jury will listen to that. I don't get to make that decision. The jury makes that decision, but I'll give you credit. If you do get convicted, I'll give you credit for the time you've served, okay?
My parents aren't coming to the trial. It's my parents that have the injunction on me. They did not call the law on me that day. They're
Okay.
not coming.
Thank you,
We'll
Mr.
talk more about
Creech.
that.
We'll see what
Thank you.
happens. See if y'all can work it out, if you can.
if there's any wiggle room.
And this is Mr.
This is Seth Crooks, Your Honor. Tim Gibbs on
Crooks.
his behalf, 23 CF 479. If I can have just one moment. So do you still?
That's fine.
So yeah, it's just the one count of possession. And so it's 90 days. If that's still what you want to do, go ahead and sign. Here, you can grab that pen. Go ahead and sign right there for me, please. Yes, sir. I did let Mr.
PTSD from this?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gibbs, Ms. Leone, let me see y'all real quick.
Thank you very much.
Fat Boy's Juicy Beef and Tasty Bird is located at 482 North Wilston Street in historic downtown Crestview, just 1 block from the courthouse. We open at 10 a.m. with amazing lunch specials until 2 p.m., serving incredible burgers, wings, sandwiches, and appetizers. Join us for happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Wanda Roberts. For the last 20 years, I've been helping the residents of Northwest Florida buy and sell their properties. My office is just 1 block south of the courthouse in historic downtown Crestview. Give us a call at 850-398-5389.
Alex Barthay from the UPS store once again, and I wanted to let you know about our Sunday hours. We're open now 7 days a week. Normal hours that you've been expecting, but now we're open Saturday 10 to 4, Sunday 10 to 3, and it's both our Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, and Eglin Air Force Base locations. So you have things to do, go and do it. Just know the UPS store is going to be here. Again, Sundays 10 until 3 p.m.
Hello, I am Bonnie from Body Be Healthy here in Crestview. We have been serving the area since 1999. We're an alternative health food store. If you're interested in bettering your health, we'd like to invite you to stop by. We're located in Court Plaza. Stop by and let us help you be healthy.
Congratulations, Dixie Dan Powell, for your recent induction into the
Sworn, you swear the testimony you give for us court is true, so help you God?
Sir, yes, sir.
All right, you want to enter a no contest plea, the charge of possession of controlled substance, a third-degree felony, is that correct? Did you read and sign this?
You can plead no contest if you'd like.
Sure, yes, sir.
No contest?
Yeah.
No contest.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form? Okay. You aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
About what rights you're waiving?
No.
Okay.
All right. Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case? Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it, sentences you to 90 days, Okaloosa County Jail, credit for time served, $100 cost of prosecution, $515 court costs, $150 PD fee, 2 collections, and adjudicated guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Good luck. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Justin Cumby. This is 23 CF 1044, 22 CF 2019, if I can have just one moment.
Okay.
goes what you score on to. Judge, I'd just like to leave this set on docket day without subpoenas. I think by then we'll have some kind of resolution.
All right, July 3rd. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Gontarek, the last name?
Cumby?
Oh,
Yeah. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Hunter Dufell, 23 CF 825. Judge, we actually do have a bond hearing that was noticed for this morning. I'd like to proceed with that if the court's prepared.
What's he charged with?
Currently, Judge, he's charged with lewd and lascivious, unlawful sexual activity with certain minors, Judge, is what the information says.
What's his bond?
His current bond, Judge, is $10,000 cash or professional. He's unable to afford that. It precludes him from making that bond. He could potentially afford $1,000 cash professional if he were to pay a bondsman. That'd be $100 to a bondsman. He has lived in the area for 8 years, Judge. He's employed locally. He has 2 minor children for which he cares. He has a welding degree, so he would be able to find good work locally. I believe he maybe has a failure to appear previously in Alabama. That was a Department of Human Resources case, which their Department of Human Resources is similar to our DCF or our DOR. He just simply says that he didn't get notice. So he would be able to come to court if the court were to give him a reasonable bond.
Judge, 29-year-old defendant is accused of having a relationship with a 16-year-old. We do have some concerns because despite claiming he's been here, living here for 8 years, he was picked up in Escambia County, has an Alabama driver's license, address on the jail site is Alabama. Report also indicates when they attempted phone contact with him in September about the case, he said he was in Tennessee. The very next day, he then said he was afraid he was in trouble and he took a job in Mississippi. So where he was depends on the day. Warrant went active in September of 2022, and they had a lot of difficulty locating him. They believe at some point he was in Louisiana working. The Marshal Service eventually had to take over the case to serve the warrant. So for 6 months, they were unable to find him.
All right, well, I'm going to leave the bond the way it is. Thank you.
Otherwise, Judge, we'll ask for a continuance to potentially get depositions set.
Okay, August 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, this is Cody Farrell. Tim Gibbs on his behalf. In the event we didn't take care of him this morning, we'd request a continuance to next cycle. We're working on getting some surveillance video in this case.
August 28th. Thank you, sir.
Subpoena to him already, so we should get it soon.
All right, thank you, sir.
Two more of mine, Judge, are Max's. I don't have Mr. Washington listed as a Max. Bless you.
All right, this is Mr. Tillman.
Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Mr. Thomas and Tillman. This is 21 CF 35, 21 CF 1266. Judge, I'd like to leave him on docket day without subpoenas. I think we're very close to a resolution on this, so we may very well be able to have it resolved by that day.
July 3rd. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Amos Washington, 21 CF 2413. Judge, I'd also like to leave Mr. Washington set for docket day July 3rd. We may very well be able to start a resolution in motion, so I'd like to leave him set for that day as well.
July 3rd, thank you.
Did we already take care of Mr. Truman, Adam Truman?
That was continued.
Thank you. Your Honor, Tim Gibbs on behalf of Eddie Wilson, 21 CF 567, if I may have just one moment. This was the deal that we wrote about. See, with credit for time served. Have to be assessed and they just go to collections.
Your Honor, I don't have any further business before the court.
No,
If I can
just-
excuse.
Is this for the?
Make your statement.
So this is 2 years.
I thought it was.
It's 2 years consecutive to the 5 and 2.
I don't.
I'll make her break that.
Sure, you can go.
Thank you.
I don't either.
I don't want you to get violated. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll do the 2 years. Sign right there for me, please. And then today's date, please.
What is the date?
June 26th.
June 6th?
26th.
Yeah, but is it the 6th month or 7th?
Yes, 6 month, I'm sorry.
6, 27,
26.
22nd,
26th.
26th,
Yes, sir.
20.
23.
How many cases do we have today? 300 or something?
Your Honor, if I may approach.
Yeah, how much? 300 and something? All right, this is Eddie Eugene Wilson. Is that you, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is 21 CF 567, State versus Eddie Eugene Wilson. Mr. Wilson, you want to plead no contest to a third-degree felony, lewd and lascivious molestation of disabled adults. Is that correct?
Yes, but it wasn't.
Well, that's
Okay.
what you want to plead to, right?
Yes,
Resolve
yes,
it.
yes,
No
sir.
contest to it.
Yes, sir.
You're not
All
admitting
right.
anything, you're just saying, let's move
All
on.
right.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
I don't remember.
Do you remember signing that form just now?
No, I don't remember signing that
Do you
form.
remember signing a form with me right here?
No, the one just now?
Yeah, do you remember signing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Wilson, this form. It's got your signature on it. It explains all your rights that you're waiving. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Did you sign that?
yes,
Okay.
It's the same form, I'm sorry. That was the same.
same form.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No,
Are you happy with the work Mr. Gibbs has done for you on your case?
yes,
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
no,
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Adjudicates you guilty, sentences you to 2 years Department of Corrections with credit for time served consecutive to Walton County case 22 CF 636, $100 cost of prosecution, standard court costs, $150 PD fee to collections.
And Judge, I just want the record to be clear that he, even though it is a consecutive sentence to the Walton County case, he of course is entitled to all of the credit he has in the Okaloosa County Jail on this
Yeah,
case.
credit for all time served.
Yes, John. Yes, Judge. Thank you so much.
What about the pay? I can't.
Don't worry about that. We're sending that to collections. When you get out, if you want to try to pay that, you can
Oh,
let
I'll
us know.
pay it, but I
Yeah.
just don't have
Don't
it
worry
right
about it
now.
right now. Don't worry about it now.
Okay, now where am I going to be in jail at?
Wherever
All right,
DOC
next.
decides to send you. So I know you've been over in Walton now, and that might be where they keep you. They're going to go back to the OCJ.
We got Mr. Wingate.
Okay.
We got Mr. Wingate, is that right? Come on up. Who represents Mr. Wingate?
Your Honor, that concludes my business, if I may be excused.
Yeah, you can go.
Oh, goodness. Who am I missing? I'll get it from the clerk.
There's somebody who's always right, and it's the clerk.
If I may make good on my assumption from earlier, Judge, it appears Mr. Jonathan Cantwell is still one outstanding for me, 23 CF 844. Is there a Jonathan Cantwell present? He was here. I know I had asked to continue him earlier.
He was present. I saw him.
Okay.
I spoke.
All right, did I issue a capias for him?
No,
All
I believe
right,
he
we'll
was...
continue to 828.
Thank you, Judge. We may have just overlooked it.
Mr. Wingate.
Mr. Wingate,
Charles Russell, Public Defender's Office. Judge, this is Emmanuel Colley. Case numbers are 19 CF 2948 and 21 CF 2367. Ms. Leone is on the 21 case, and she's covering for Mr. Alderman, who's the prosecutor on the 19 case. I've spoken to them both. We're continuing both cases to complete our depositions.
No objection.
August 28th, thank you.
I'll be in touch. I'll come out and see.
Yeah.
This is Daniel Kilburn, Judge. Case numbers are 17 CF 3565 and 21 CF 452. On both cases, defense is ready for trial.
Your Honor, there's still some motions outstanding on both cases that need to be heard prior to them. Child hearsay and Williams rule, both of them would affect how the cases will be tried, so we'd be suggesting that this be continued cycle and those motions prior to that.
Granted. August 28th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll come out and talk to you.
Do we want to choose the motion date already, Mr. Russell, or shall we get with your JA, sir?
Yeah, if you'll file them, then we'll contact you, and we'll set something up before the 28th, Judge. We can take care of that. Judge, this is my Kelton Lett, L-E-T-T. Case number is 21 CF 1977. On this case, Judge, defense is ready for trial.
Tuesday will be ready as well, Your Honor, and I believe Mr. Russell and I were still speaking about this up for docket day.
Yes.
What's he charged with?
Your Honor, this is felony and misdemeanor solicitation, unlawfully using
Let. We will do this, we'll set this July 3rd.
9 o'clock, Judge?
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, this is David Weisar approaching. Case numbers are 21 CF 1739 and 21 CF 1740. On Mr. Weisar's cases, we're asking for a continuance of both cases. There's a cell phone in evidence under a different case that we're going to have to file a motion on, try to sort out. There may be information on it that's helpful to the defense. But also, Mr. Weisar has filed another request for a Nelson hearing that we've actually got set for Thursday. So at this time, we're going to ask for a continuance of both, and then he'll be back Thursday to deal with the Nelson hearing.
Okay.
Without objection.
August 28th, thank you.
When's the next?
Thursday.
No, I mean, for the continuance on the
Pretrial conference is August 28th.
August 28th?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
And Judge, lastly, this is Larry Miller. Case number is 20 CF 2060. At this time, defense is going to announce ready for trial.
Mr. Miller's case, additionally, there was also another motion outstanding in Williams rule. We've become aware of another witness. So we'll have to ask for continuance after trial next time.
August 28th then, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have.
All right.
Your Honor, this is Deontay Wingate, 23 CF 647. Your Honor, he is requesting a continuance to 8/28.
All right, Mr. Wingate, now, in the future, don't wear short pants to court.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry. I woke up and just had to get up here, so I wasn't too late. I'm sorry.
Okay, August 28th, thank you.
All right. Yeah, hang on for a second, I'll talk to you. All right, Your Honor, Charlotte Prattley, 23 CF 143.
Charlotte Prattley, is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
I'll ask for a capias.
No bond capias.
Thank you.
Got more inmates? We did.
Oh,
Quite a
sorry.
bit more?
Stephen Sykes.
No bond capias.
Jolie Waddle, Your Honor, she has two cases. I called her earlier today as well, 22 CF 525 and 1642. I know her son was here, and he was trying to contact her as well.
No bond capias.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, I'm ready to go on. Judge, this is Mr. Heron, Andrew Heron. I believe the state has an announcement in his case.
Your Honor, the state has decided not to prosecute Mr. Heron. I have a question, I guess, for the court. Would you prefer that I file a no prosecution, or I can do it on the record now?
I mean, we'd just do it on the record now.
The state is not going to file charges against Mr. Heron.
You're going to dismiss charges?
We haven't filed, so
Oh, you're not gonna fi-
yes,
okay.
I announce a no prosecution.
All right.
It would be a no
Do
prosecution.
you have any
Judge.
objection to that? They're not going to charge you. You have any objection?
No.
Okay,
Thank you, Judge.
thank you. I guess he'll be let out today.
Well, there may
Some-
be another jurisdiction.
Oh,
I
another
don't want
case?
him to be
Okay,
confused.
well, yeah,
And I've advised him and his family that there might be a hold.
okay.
Judge, I'm going to announce ready for trial on Mr. Holt.
Holt.
Hudson.
State ready, want to continue. Holt,
No,
I'm
this
sorry,
is
what's the
Hudson,
question?
Judge.
Hudson.
Hudson.
it's Hudson or Holt?
Yes,
Hudson,
that's correct, Judge. It's 23 CF 5.
What's he charged with?
051.
It's fourth or subsequent DUI. We have done the depositions. He scores, I offered a downward departure deal of 12-1 DOC.
Judge, he was riding a bicycle on the sidewalk. Frankly, I just don't see it how it has any jury appeal at all for the state. And I'm not sure if legally being on the sidewalk is in the roadway. I provided the state.
Well, we're not going to argue that. We're not going to argue the case at this point.
It's not on the sidewalk, it's our contention, so.
I would suggest.
If we set this to,
on for docket day.
if we set this on July 3rd, you think I mean, if you set it on, if we set it on July 25th, do you think that you can get it worked out some way or another?
It depends on,
We seem to be pretty much at loggerheads, Judge. I've made counteroffers as well for
How much
other
time has he
charges.
served in jail?
Well, he's in jail on other charges right now, Judge. I don't know if his bond was ever revoked on this charge.
it was not. He has a bond.
Well, I guess we'll set it for July 3rd and see where we're at.
All right, Judge.
Is that all right?
Yes, Your Honor, that's fine.
And his name was, again, Mr.
Gary L. Hudson,
Hudson.
Hudson.
Okay, we'll see, July 3rd.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. England.
Judge, we had an evaluation done on Mr. Ingram, and we need to bring him in for a competency hearing. I have not yet received the written report, but I spoke to Dr. Zeman on Friday.
August 28th?
Oh, no, I don't want that.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we're going to get you on the next miscellaneous date for the hearing, but I'm sorry, I've got
I just
to.
want to go home, man.
I
I'll plead out to my misdemeanor, man.
I understand that, but I can't let you plea out if you're not competent
I
to
am
stand trial.
confident. I have a whole written
Sir,
statement about it.
Well, I tell you what, is that the statement?
Yes, right here.
Hand it to me, I'll provide it to Dr. Zeman and see if that changes his mind. Okay?
Getting back on the docket as soon as you can.
I will, Judge.
Is this Marcus Johnson? Mark Law, okay.
For you, typed it up.
All right.
State's got an all-cross or drop, count one. It's what we talked about yesterday, okay? Do you want to do this? It'd be time served, misdemeanor costs.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me go get your signature right there. And Madam Clerk, just so you'll know, our printer apparently defaults to printing on both sides of the page. Mr. Russell warned me to warn you so that when it gets scanned in, it'll get scanned in okay.
Sound like Mr. Russell needs to buy y'all a new printer.
Judge, I like Mr. Russell, and I would not volunteer him for that expense, but I won't complain.
I thought that was
if
some kind of motion that you were making for.
somebody else will do it. I actually brought in my own personal printer. I just stopped using it as much when I discovered that I wasn't gonna get reimbursed for any paper. I was fine with it, but that was the problem. Thank you. All right, Judge. Yes, this is legal.
All right, Mr. Johnson, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the test. I got you.
Yeah.
You swear.
It was hurting when I did it.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right.
You okay?
Yes, sir.
You used to be a medic, man, if you're not telling me.
Huh?
I used to be.
All right, Mr. Johnson, raise your right hand to be, you swear the testimony you give before this court's true, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You want to enter a no contest plea to misdemeanor possession of paraphernalia, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the state's going to dismiss the felony possession of cocaine?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, did you read and sign this plea and sentencing form?
Yes.
You aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yeah.
Anyone force you, threaten you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done on your case for you?
Yes.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it.
Yes.
Sentence you to count 2, judge guilty, sentence you to time served, standard misdemeanor court cost, $50 cost of prosecution, $50 PD app fee, and $50 PD fee, and adjudicated. That's it, thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Something contained towards my child support?
All right, no, I'm
Okay,
not the
good.
child support hearing
All right.
officer. That's a different judge, so to speak, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones.
In fact, I think we already signed it, didn't we? Judge, this is going to be.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You did, okay.
All right, this is 23 CF 646, State versus Xavier Jones. Mr. Jones, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give before this court's true, so help you God?
Sir.
Okay. You want to enter a no contest plea to count 1, possession of a controlled substance, a third-degree felony. Count 2, possession of a controlled substance, a third-degree felony. Count 3, possession of less than 20 grams marijuana, first-degree misdemeanor. Count 4, possession of paraphernalia, first-degree misdemeanor. And count 5, driving license suspended or revoked, second conviction, a first-degree misdemeanor. You want to enter a no contest plea to those charges, correct?
Sir.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea? Where your rights you're waiving?
Sir.
Okay. Anyone force you or threaten you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that would prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On the misdemeanor counts, you're judged guilty, sentenced to time served. On the 2 felonies, you're judged guilty, sentenced to 2 years probation. Have a
Substance abuse evaluation.
substance
treatment.
abuse evaluation within 30 days, beginning treatment within 60. No controlled substance without prescription. Random UA, 615 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $100 PD fee, $50 app fee if not already paid. And the counts are all concurrent. So basically, 2 years probation concurrent, okay, with these other things, okay? And adjudicated. Anything else? We got a score sheet with this?
Mr. Williams, do you have score sheet?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because
yes, I
this
do.
is as charged, so, but I can print them out. Oh, thank you.
I forgot about that.
Stay away from the illegal drugs, okay?
Sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Officer Supervision, waive, Your Honor.
Yeah.
somebody else's form and made changes. 3, adjudication guilt, 3 years probation, any theft cost. They're going to let you plead to the lesser offense of burglary or conveyance. Yeah, it's probation. 3 years probation. You can early term in 18 months if you get everything done. I'm not certain, probably around 5. More or less. If I were good in math, I'd have gone to med school too. All right. All right, you remember the rights I went over with you yesterday? Yes, sir. Get your signature right there. And just adjust that how you need to. Yeah. Is he yours, Keith?
He split into the
Lesser burglary.
L4.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab the score sheet and.
Okay. Judge, this is a slightly reduced charge, so the state's going to have to recalculate the score sheet.
All right, this is State versus Victor Keith. Case number 23 CF 512. Mr. Keith, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God?
Sir.
Okay. And this is no contest plea to burglary of a conveyance, a lesser included offense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third-degree felony. That's
Yes,
what you're pleading, no contest to. You understand that, Mr. Keith? Okay. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form? Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today? Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done for you on your case? Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. You're judged guilty, sentenced to 3 years probation. Take the anti-theft course. Standard court costs, cost of prosecution, standard PD app fee, and a PD fee. You can terminate your probation at 18 months if all the conditions are met and no new law violations, okay? And adjudicated. So, sound kind of like, unless you have some other case, or sound like you might get out today.
That's my
Okay.
understanding, Judge. But
All
I'm
right.
not typically aware of everybody's holds. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, good luck, ma'am.
Supervision fees waived, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Judge, this is a negotiated plea.
All right, are you Dakota Lee?
Yes, sir.
Would you raise your right hand, please, to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court's the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is 22 CF 704, State versus Dakota Lee. You want to enter a no contest plea to possession of a controlled substance and also count 2, failure to appear, both of them third-degree felonies. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Anyone force you or threaten you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevents you from knowing what you're doing here today?
Sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Judge you guilty on both counts. Sends you to 90 days. 90 days Okaloosa County Jail with credit for time served. Concurrent on each count. $100 cost of prosecution, $515 court costs, 180 days to pay or to judgment, and adjudicated both counts.
And Your Honor, there is an $89.45 cost of transportation to the Okaloosa County Sheriff.
All right, $89.45 cost of transportation to the Sheriff's Department. Yes.
Just when you get out of jail, go to the clerk's office and they'll put you on a payment plan for you. Okay?
Not you.
Judge, I was able finally to meet with Mr. Lee. He's been in medical housing. Judge, we're not at this point ready to resolve his case. It's fairly new. It looks like he was arraigned on 6/8.
August 28th, how about that?
That's my objection, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, August 28th.
Thank you, Judge. I'm going to come out and see you again once I get a little bit more information.
And when's the next court date?
August 28th. Judge, this is Rachel Linton. She's got two cases. This is going to be a negotiated plea. All right, Judge, I've got a score.
All right, this is case number 19 CF 89, State versus Rachel Linton. Ms. Linton, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court is the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so you want to admit that you violated probation in 19 CF 89 and also plead no contest in 23 CF 915 to battery on a jail inmate, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevents you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered and admission is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. On the 19 CF 89, you're judged guilty, 90 days. Is it Okaloosa County Jail?
Yes, sir. 90 days county jail.
Okay, it's 90 days county jail with credit for time served, $100 cost of prosecution, $150 PD fee, send outstanding monetaries to collections. In 23 CF 915, judge guilty, 90 days Okaloosa County Jail with credit for time served concurrent with 19 CF 89, $867 court costs, $100 costs of prosecution, $150 PD fee, sent to collections, and adjudicated on both of them, correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Adjudicated.
Yes.
Revoke and terminate probation. How much time you got?
How much time do I have in, sir? I have 94 days on my VOP, and I have, I think, 72 days on my new charge, which you do 75, so.
All right, well, it's concurrent, so sound like she,
She may have a couple of more days to do on the one she only has done 70-something days on, but
okay, so maybe by the 4th of July, I don't know, so, okay, thank you.
Your signature right there.
All right, you're Joseph Martin?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is 23 CF 994, State versus Joseph Martin. Mr. Martin, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court is the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You want to enter a no contest plea to the charge of felony petty theft, is that right?
Yes, sir.
A third-degree felony. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form?
Yes, sir.
You aware of the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you to enter this plea?
No, sir.
You can put your hand up. Are you under any medication, under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done for you?
Yes,
On your
sir.
case? Court finds the plea is freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts it. Judge you guilty. Sends you to 120 days Okaloosa County Jail with credit for time served, $100 cost of prosecution, standard court cost, $100 PD fee, $50 PD app fee, and adjudicated. How many days you got in?
2 months, sir.
60? Okay. Well, you got credit for those days served, okay?
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Judge, Mr. Martinez has been determined by Dr. Zeman to be not competent, and so I'm going to need to schedule him for a competency hearing.
August 28th.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you. When will I see you, sir?
Sometime soon. Like I said, I tried to see you yesterday, and they just didn't bring you down. There were 3 or 4 others in the same boat as you, Mr. Martinez.
All right, Mr. Mace.
Judge, let's see. Judge, I had requested a competency eval from Dr. McDonald and have not received it as yet. My understanding is that Dr. McDonald simply wasn't waiting on the competency evaluation, so I'm going to have to ask him to continue this case.
August 28th.
All right, Judge, Mr. McLean, we're going to set this for docket day? Yes. We're going to set this for docket day. We're trying to negotiate the case out. He's made a counteroffer that's been rejected. She's going to go back and see what her absolute dead bottom offer is going to
All
be.
right, July 3rd.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Mitchell.
All right.
We have some what? Yes, sir, I have those files with me.
All right, who is this?
This is Christian
Mitchell? Okay.
Sorry.
Judge, I tried to see Mr. Mitchell Sunday, and he was one of 3 or 4, well, 2 or 3 people that were not brought down. If you'll give me just a moment, sir. Mitchell, have I previously gone over with you the rights that you have that are associated with the trial?
Yes.
And you understand you'd be waiving those rights by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're in.
Yes, sir. And yesterday was not the first time I've been out to the jail to see you.
Go inside.
That was just the time I went out after having the offer drafted up. No, not yet. No, until they've signed it. Go ahead. I'll sign after you. That's me. Mitchell, do you mind if I go ahead and date this for you? Yes, sir,
please. All right, this is State versus Christian Mitchell, 23 CF 244 and 23 CF 1050. Mr. Mitchell Would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? You swear the testimony you give for this court is the truth, so help you God?
Sir.
Okay, thank you. You can put your hand down. You want to enter in 23 CF 244, no contest plea, count 1, possession of controlled substance, count 2, false name to a law enforcement officer, count 1 is a third-degree felony, count 2 is a first-degree misdemeanor, driving license suspended, count 3 is second-degree misdemeanor, no vehicle registration, count 4 a second-degree misdemeanor, count 5 possession of paraphernalia, first-degree misdemeanor, and count 6 possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana, first-degree misdemeanor. And in 23 CF 1050, possession of controlled substance, fentanyl, third-degree felony. Count 2, driving license suspended or revoked, a first offense, second-degree misdemeanor. Count 3, possession of paraphernalia, a first-degree misdemeanor. You want to enter a no contest plea to all those charges? Okay. Did you read and sign this plea and sentencing agreement form? Where the rights you're waiving by entering this plea?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication or drugs that prevent you from knowing what you're doing here today?
No, Your Honor.
Are you, were you forced or threatened to enter this plea?
No, sir.
Are you happy with the work Mr. Williams has done for you on your case?
Yes, sir.
Court finds the pleas are freely and voluntarily entered. Court accepts them. On all the felonies in both cases, you're judged guilty since the 12 months probation, $515 court costs, $100 cost of prosecution, $50 PD app fee, $100 PD fee, have a drug and alcohol evaluation, and treatment with random UAs, 50 hours community service work, no alcohol or controlled substance without a prescription, make a good faith effort to get a valid driver's license. On your all the misdemeanors, you're judged guilty and sentenced to time served. And the probation is all, on the felonies, is all concurrent with each other.
Sir.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All
No,
right,
Your
thank
Honor.
you.
And the supervision fees waived, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Right there, Mitchell.
Yeah, you got to sit down.
I ran off the
Yes, sir.
runway. Hot landing on that one.
Franklin Norris.
All right, is it Mr. Norris? Is that right? Okay.
All right, Judge, we're going to ask to continue this one more time. We still have one more deposition to take in the case. I believe you're covering for Ms. Sam.
All right, August 28th.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next.
Okay. without subpoenas, is that correct? 'Cause I remember there was something. Let's do that, because we're kind of loading up docket day a little bit.
July 6th.
So we're going to bring you back in on July 6th. I'm going to go out and see you and go over as soon as I hear something from her, okay?
Come talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll schedule you on a day when I'm not scheduling a bunch of other folks.
All right, we're going to call it, our clerk's going to call some names of people that were noticed to be here but did not show up.